I'm Chris, you're watching FRAG-MENTAL, thanks for joining me. So I've been tagged to make a video called 25 fragrances I will never, full stop, stop, full stop, recommending, exclamation mark. So now we've got that super catchy title out of the way, let's get on with it. 25 fragrances I will never stop recommending. You know, it's actually harder than it sounds. I was going through my collection trying to pick out 25 fragrances, and I could probably pick out 100 fragrances that I will never stop recommending. But I managed to whittle it down. I've got it down to 25. Now, if your favorite fragrance isn't in this list, it doesn't mean I don't like it. It just means that it didn't make the cut in this list. As I said, I could have included way more than 25. What I've decided to do is the same thing as George, who tagged me to make this video. I'm going to do it in 3 parts because I don't want each part of the video to go on for too long. So you will get 8 fragrances in this video. I've decided it will not be in any particular order. This isn't 25th most recommended all the way up to the 1st. These are just 25 fragrances that I love that I will always recommend to people. All right, let's get started. Amouage is a serious house for serious frag heads. Some may find their fragrances too much, too complex, too much going on, so I'd have to be careful about what I recommended to the more casual fragrance wearer. This fragrance, however, I would have no problem recommending to anyone ever. Reflection Man. This is a stunning, sweet, creamy, woody fragrance. And I think the creaminess in here is coming from indolic white florals and a really rich sandalwood. The most prominent of these florals in Reflection Man is jasmine, but it's not a jasmine that smells too feminine at all. It's done in a very masculine way, so it doesn't have that church flower bouquet type of smell that I can sometimes associate with jasmine. It's rich and full-bodied, very diffusive. I have walked behind people who've been wearing this, and I've got to say the sillage trail is insane. One of the things I really love about this fragrance is it smells modern, it smells contemporary, a little bit metrosexual, coming from the sweetness and the florals. And I put this in the category of niche fragrances that are very accessible and easy for anyone to wear. So if someone was more used to simplistic designers, I would have no problem recommending it to them. I can't think anyone would smell this fragrance and not be blown away. It's compliment getting, mass appealing, extremely satisfying to wear. Reflection Man is a magical fragrance and an absolute banger to kick off this list with. The next one is from one of my favourite designer houses, Dior. There's a few from Dior in this list of 25, but the one I'm mentioning first is Dior Homme Parfum. Lipsticky, boozy, leathery goodness. Dior Homme Parfum is based around iris, which gives this lipstick makeup type accord, but it never smells feminine to me. If anything, it only serves to heighten and enhance masculinity. The amber seed in here is interesting. Amber seed is often used in fragrances to give this boozy, whiskey type accord, and I do get that in Dior Homme Parfum. And for me, it's just working harmoniously with the powdery iris and the slightly rugged leather. Could be for someone dressed in a sharp suit. It could be for a bad boy in a leather jacket. It could be for someone dressed more casually in a white t-shirt and jeans. In my opinion, this works for every type of guy or girl, for that matter. It's an exquisitely blended fragrance, extremely well put together. So for anyone who wanted to come across as well put together, I'd recommend this in a heartbeat. And for anyone who didn't want to come across as well put together, what's wrong with you? Get some of this in your life. Next on the list is a Creed, and this one to me is definitely one of the most refined, clean, fresh laundry type fragrances. Original Santal. Of course, not the original sandalwood. Mont Blanc have that covered, but let's not get into that. I love the clean, aromatic nature of original Santal, and I think that's maybe coming from the juniper berries. Whenever there are juniper berries in a fragrance, it always has this nice clean profile, but there's a depth to this and a sweetness coming from the vanilla, the cinnamon, and the tonka bean. It's not quite as distinctive as Reflection Man. I think it's a bit more subtle, but if someone wanted to wear a sandalwood based fragrance and smell great, but without their scent becoming too obtrusive, I think this is a great option. This, to me, is the perfect example of a simple, safe bet type of fragrance. Smells great, pretty much works for anyone on any occasion. Next up is one of my favourite designer fragrances of recent years. It's a fun and confident scent that will make you wanted by anyone at night. Can you guess what it is? Alright, I know those clues were a bit difficult. I'll put you out of your misery. Azzaro Wanted by Night. This is such a fun, lively, feel-good fragrance. It's fruity, it's spicy, there's a lot of cinnamon in here, there's some tobacco and leather even, but I think they're a little more subtle and in the background. There's such an energy to Wanted by Night. I think this would work well in a club or at a party. Yes, I do think we can get back into clubs and have parties again someday, hopefully, please. It's an easy to love, mass appealing scent that has a satisfying complexity to it. One of the best things is the price. You can pick up this 50ml bottle for just £30. So buy this now. I'm recommending it and we'll never stop. The next one is a fragrance that you will find in many fragrance collections all around the world. This is almost an obligatory scent that most serious collectors will want to have, and that's because it's just so damn good. From Tower Perfumes, it's L'air de Desert Marocain. Sweet, powdery patchouli goodness. This is one of the most evocative, mysterious and intoxicating fragrances I own. It's olfactory poetry in a bottle that just whisks you away to the Moroccan desert. I've no idea if the Moroccan desert actually smells like this, but that's not the point. This is a scent that makes you imagine this is what it smells like in an almost dreamlike way. It's a sweet, woody fragrance, and it's quite a big fragrance. It has a real richness to it, but it's never dense. It has this bright, airy elegance. I'd never stop recommending this to people because I just think it is a beautifully made fragrance. It's probably more for people who are into their perfume, who can appreciate scent beyond just wanting to wear a compliment-getting panty dropper. That being said, I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who could appreciate this, and though their panties may remain firmly undropped, if you wooed them with this olfactory poem, I'm sure they would be willing to drop you a compliment or two. Up next is another Dior that I would never stop recommending. This is the timeless and classy Sauvage. Sophisticated citrus aromatic. This is the Parfum, so it's a reinterpreted version of the 1966 classic, and this one somehow manages to smell classic yet contemporary at the same time. It has notes of petitgrain lavender and dry vetiver, which are notes you often find in this type of gentlemanly perfume. This is actually the 2012 formulation, which was changed in 2017. The current formulation, I believe, doesn't have the myrrh in it. I haven't smelled that fragrance. Many people say they enjoy it just as much. I think some people say maybe it's even better, but people say this is better. Either way, you're not going to go wrong whether you pick up the 2012 version or the latest formulation. Basically, if you want to smell clean, crisp and gentlemanly, this will do the job very nicely indeed. Parfum de Marly is one of my favourite houses, and this next fragrance is currently my most worn from the house. Why? Because it's so damn wearable. Layton. It has the cool spiciness of cardamom, the warmth and depth of vanilla. Layton is another of those very easy to wear, very accessible niche fragrances because it ticks all the boxes. It smells amazing to wear, people around you will love smelling it, it's got good projection, it's long lasting, it's fun yet refined, it's complex yet easy on the nose. It's a very popular fragrance, very well liked and for good reason. It's just one of those solid fragrances that has always got you back. It's a fragrance that I will always want to have in my collection and one that I will always recommend. And the last fragrance for part 1 of 25 fragrances that I will never stop recommending reminds me of the person who tagged me to make this video. From Mugler, it's Pure Malt. So obviously there's some booziness here, but it's a fun boozy. It doesn't have the realistic whiskey accord of Nasamato's Baronda. It doesn't have the sophistication of Baikalian's single malt. In fact, the booziness in here more reminds me of the little penny sweet beer bottles I used to have as a kid. But this has the fun factor. This is a party fragrance. It's the life and soul of the party. It's got a pulse. It's got an energy to it. It's a club banger. It's a compliment getter. It's a panty. All right, we won't go as far as that, but suffice to say, it can be quite effective. Of course, George made a superb video about this fragrance in his beloved city of Edinburgh, and George and I had a pretty wild night out once where we both wore this fragrance. I will never stop recommending Pure Malt because it is just pure bliss, and quite fitting that it should end the video that my friend George tagged me to do. So George, thanks for the tag, and thanks for the memories. This being a tag video, I am going to tag 3 marvellous ladies to make their videos about fragrances they will never stop recommending. These 3 ladies have superb channels and they are all an absolute pleasure to be in the company of. Jus de Rose, Clemence CC Fragrance, Curly Scents, it's over to you. It can be 25 fragrances over 3 videos, it can be 5 fragrances in 1 video, however you want to do it. Please don't feel obligated to do it, but if you want to, have fun. Here ends part 1 of my 25 fragrances I will never stop recommending. A part 2 will be coming soon. There'll be another 8 fragrances in that video. Let me know what you think of my choices, and if I've left anything out, maybe they will appear in parts 2 and parts 3. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching. Remember, keep tuning into FM, keep smelling good, and I'll see you in the next one.